Boston with 3 little children. We came from summer in South Africa to winter. It's an early winter here. There's snow on the ground. We still have our short sleeve shirts from Africa. We arrive in Boston, and we have so hyped this up. We're going home. We're going home. We're going home. Now, the kids have never lived here, all right? I mean, they don't remember living here. So they're all hyped up about what we've talked about. It's all about what we've talked about. So they're hyped. Everybody's hyped, and we get off, and it's bitterly cold. And her brother shows up, and bless his heart, he brought coats, winter coats. And they took us to their house, and we had Thanksgiving with them. And it hit me that I have 3 kids. I'm 31 years old. I have $300 in my pocket. $300. I have no home. I have no job. I have nothing. All right? And I remember my wife saying to me, and I don't know if she remembers this or not, but I was a little bummed. And she said to me, "We're not home yet." And that's where 1 Peter comes in. Because these people have been dispersed. The Christians have been dispersed. The Jewish Christians have lived in dispersion. They haven't been in Jerusalem for several generations. Many of them, they don't feel like they belong where they are. They don't fit. I don't know if anyone here has ever experienced that, where you just don't feel like you fit, okay? And 1 Peter's written to that. He's saying, first of all, you're not supposed to fit here. Don't worry about that, because you're not supposed to fit here. But you're not where you're going to be. And so hold on. So he gives some lessons for encouragement. We talked last week about the first one. This is the second one. You're called to be holy. I don't know if we grasp holiness, really. We think of it as being good or not doing anything bad. But that's not what really holy is. The church is called holy in Corinth, and if they were anything, they were not good all the time, all right? Holiness has more to do with being separate. It has to being set apart. And so Peter is writing to them and telling them, you were called to be set apart. If you feel like you don't belong, great, you were called to not belong. You were called to not fit in here. God doesn't want you to fit in too well, because the more we fit in here, the more we get wrapped up in the world here and the values of the world here and the way the world views things. So he tells them to focus on what lies ahead. He says, prepare your minds for action and be sober-minded. Set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Set your mind fully on the coming of Christ. Whew. That's tough, because honestly, the whole world is geared to get us to think about now. This moment, how things are going, how it could be better, what we want, what we used to have, or what we wish we had, what other people have. And he's saying, no, focus. Focus on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. In Colossians 3, the church in Colossae, he writes, if then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things above where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on the things that are above, not on things that are on the earth, for you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. This is the verse. A little backstory here. I left this verse out. I had Colossians 3, 1-4, but I didn't have the verse. And I was going over my lesson, And I'd already sent the lessons in because they come in here so they can be set up. And I had to resend them because without verse 4, it doesn't make sense. Because verse 4, it says, when Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Paul's saying, then you'll be home. Then you'll be home. Hebrews 11 talks about the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all of those who died in faith. They had faith that what was promised would happen, but they hadn't seen the fulfillment of it yet. These all died in faith, not having received the things promised, but having seen them and greeting them from afar, and having acknowledged that they were strangers and exiles on the earth. For people who speak thus make it clear that they are seeking a homeland. If they'd been thinking of that land from which they had gone out, they would have had an opportunity to return. So he's telling us that we're exiles, we're strangers, we're aliens here. And Peter is writing to the Christians of his day, and he's saying, we're aliens here. This isn't where we belong. You're not home here. This is just where you are now. But look ahead at what is to behave like obedient children. I don't know if it's the word, I don't think they use the same words, but I can still hear my mom saying behave.